I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I am Tony Russo, no relation. All sorts of fun stuff. We've been gone 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks might be the longest we've ever had no show at all.
Yeah.
I think every now and again we miss a week, rarely. But now that it's been just the two of us, now that we are not doing like the live meet in person one, sometimes we'll go a week, but it's rarely we've gone two. So lots of stuff to go over. And so let's just get right in. Oh, I'm sorry. We weren't going to get right into it. We're going to talk about talking about it, and then we're going to get right into it.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Why don't you ping me up to date?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. Well, and yeah, it has been 2 weeks, and I kind of feel a little bit sad about that. But at the same time, I think it's the progression of things. We also don't push this out a whole lot, and I think we need to start doing it because I see a lot of stuff that's out there that's
good.
That's clearly much worse, and I think we're seasoned vets. I
agree, and we are. For me, the only difficulty is that I have trouble believing that because I am so vain. I'm like, look at how beautiful he is. Look at how interesting he is. So. Yes, of course, clearly I think that I'm better than everyone else. I mean, ask anyone. They'll tell you that I think I'm better than everyone else. But that doesn't mean that other people have come to recognize that yet.
Right. It's an adoption.
I'm an acquired taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I push. I'd be happy to participate. I've been kind of off social media for the last couple weeks. I've been writing like a maniac for all the places for which I write. I'm still chugging along on the Burley book, and I'm working on that. Even though no one's going to read it, I'm gonna die, and it'll be one of those. It'll be like Proust for dumb beer lovers. They'll be like, oh wow, this is a great example of 21st century early craft revolution. This is an original text, and but my grandkids will get like $1.95 for it at a yard sale, and then they'll make it into the first Taste-O-Vision movie in 21-22.
Well, yeah. I mean, so exactly. What are we doing here? What is the value? And it's funny because we were talking a little bit. You're talking about talking about it, and there are things out there that I think we take for granted that we do, that we understand, that we have a mostly weekly hangout podcast video that we put out on a regular basis. The importance of putting out information for your brand, like nice brand placement. For me, I think you need to work on your shower curtain behind you.
It's not a shower curtain, it's a proper curtain. It goes outside. That's Delmar out there.
That's Delmar.
It's not the bathroom. I'm not sitting in the shower. I'm not sitting on the toilet.
You're not in your mom's basement.
Exactly. I'm in a house I bought all by myself.
There you go. But one thing that came up, and I've heard it recently, Natalie seems to think that it's been around for a little bit. The phraseology, I will ping you. P-I-N-G.
That sounds like a threat when you say it.
Yeah, I'm going to ping you. It's, I think it's one of those things where there's so many different ways to communicate, messenger, hangouts like we're doing here, text, call, Snapchat. Thank you, Nelly, offering the Snapchat. But so now it's just a matter of, I'll ping you. And it's something, it's I don't know, it's just dorky enough that it's something I feel like the business people and more of like the official type people have accepted as the nomenclature of I'm going to get in touch with you. I mean, why can't you just say message you and or something like that?
That sounds fatty. As if it's gonna if it's come then it's gone, or if it's coming then it'll only be here briefly. Because especially if the early adopters are like the Michael P. Keatons or Alex P. Keatons,
Nice reference.
Thank you. And that's how it feels. It's like, hey, give me your digits, right?
Right.
We don't do that anymore. Do we do that?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, no. There's always something that's coming up.
So that feels like one of them. I actually tried for a little while. I test drove it, and it just felt too contrived. And what was weird is it wasn't contrived. I'm sorry, it wasn't contrived because the first time I used it, I've been drinking a little bit. And I was trying to think of a cool sign off. So I sent an email, keep the faith. And I'm like, I'm going to try this. And like, nobody gets it. They think it's weird or Christian or
weird Christian.
Or weird Christian. But it really, it's just like, it's just like good luck. It's another way of saying good luck.
I like
keeping me is another way for saying get in touch with you later. And I think both of them are failures as ways of saying hello and goodbye.
I just look
ways of alohaing, if you will.
I look forward to a couple years from now using it ironically. That's my plan. I'm not going to use it now, but I'll use it 3-4 years from now when it's.
It'll be your deep cut. You're planning a deep cut.
Yeah. Yes.
That is awesome. So we discussed Periscope a little while ago, and you were way ahead of the curve on it. But people are starting to get annoyed by it. Is that? Have any Periscope news?
I don't. Other than Meerkat was the first one who's now come out with the Android version, and I'm on Android, so I did that for beta, and I don't dislike it. I'm not using it for clients like the Starbird, and we'll probably start doing it through Good Clean Fun or us for the theme parties that have started again up at Mackey's. But Snapchat is in a good spot where brands are adopting it. People are kind of enjoying that interaction. But the Periscope thing, like I got a notification that Katie Couric was online. I'm like, oh, that's cool. She's online live, and I didn't look at it. So it's not annoying to me yet. I don't know how many people I'm following. I don't, it's
well, and that's the thing. It seems as if nobody's watching this yet, they all know we've pinged them all for Christ's sake. So I feel like it would have to be like a really. I don't see how it's a better way to live stream.
Right.
I feel like if you're going to make the effort, you could make a better effort than shaky phone video.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some positives to it. There's like direct interaction. There's zero latency. It is live. I hate that it's only profile and you can't do landscape just because if I'm trying to, because I'm a storyteller, Tony.
Yeah.
And you can only tell stories in landscape. It's
only interesting ones.
Only interesting ones.
You can only talk about skinny people in pro and.
But and it's funny because it brings up another point, and somebody, we've been pushing the YouTube thing now for a year, pretty solid. Obviously, before that with our own website, but for clients, YouTube, and using that 2-minute video as the sweet spot. Well, I have a very good friend who's very smart.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt for a second. Don't leave with my camera in case you don't come back.
Okay,
all right, thank you. Sorry, I've got to work tonight. My daughter's taking the car. She's like, I'll be back. And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, yeah, I'll leave the camera just in case. So
I like that you're more concerned about the camera than that your daughter might not come back.
Oh, no. She'll come back. Sometimes she might decide to, go for a drive, or I ran into a friend and we went out, so.
Right. Gotcha.
All right. So anyway, 2 minutes.
2 minutes like that. I feel like I've been, pounding that drum for years. Obviously we do a podcast. It's 30 minutes. We've talked about, making it longer since we talk so well now. And we get together less frequently, but 30 minutes for a live set, I think is good. You have people come in, you have people come out. Maybe we have a number of zeros in our viewership right now. But the 2 minutes for the the produced YouTube video seems that's the sweet spot. And it's funny because I posted a video now that Facebook is changed their algorithms. That they're definitely pushing the video player. They have a separate video page. You can edit it, you know, custom thumbnail, that sort of thing. And it's you know, it's new and different to people who have primarily been on Facebook, because the videos that they had been seeing were, you know, links, which weren't showing up in their feeds, but the ones that were showing up in their feeds were the 15-second Instagram videos.
Right.
So I have a, you know, friend who's asking, you know, why was the Mackey's video so long? It was over, you know, it was 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm like, too long? What, you know, you're crazy. That was a sweet spot. So it'll be interesting to see how things, you know, progress as we're doing more stuff, or there's more traffic driven through Facebook videos and that sort of thing. But, you know.
I'm sorry, one more interruption. I must have already, it's not on the front seat? It's not. Then I brought it in. I'm sorry.
Okay. I thought I was going to have to tell you.
No, I brought it in. So
is that your mom yelling down the basement stairs?
Yeah, that's my mom yelling down the basement stairs. Well, I'm on the edge with Facebook. I'm disengaged increasingly from Facebook, and like I'm not their guy, you know, and I think I have to admit that I'm not their guy, and that it's okay, and that I can be friends with people on Facebook still, and I can go and I can see what's going on, but I don't really interact much. And there are people who do. If Facebook is going to be relevant in video, though, they're shooting for kids who aren't online yet, because my daughter, like, does your daughter go on Facebook at all anymore? How much Facebook?
No, yeah, they're not on Facebook yet.
They're done, or if they are, they're using it covertly, or
yeah.
But they're not engaging in a bigger way on Facebook. They love YouTube.
Yes.
And we've had this conversation before. Like, they follow YouTubers. That's a thing. I don't know why they don't follow us, but we'll let it go. Well, yes, we're old, but I'm still good looking. Look at me. The other thing, though, that I wonder about is 15 seconds sounds like an internet ad to me. You know, yeah. and people are expecting, oh, this is an advertisement. That's like because for me, 15 seconds is kind of like the breaking point. Like, if I can't skip a video after 5 seconds, it's got to be damn good for me to watch 15 seconds. Or it's got to be something I'm desperate to see for me to watch 15 or 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's exactly that. I think if it's 15 seconds to catch your attention, if you know that it's longer, you've already committed to it, because it's a trusted source, or you want to power through the content, you know, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and you come to different YouTube lengths. Like, for instance, so we do a half-hour show. We do a half-hour show every week for the last 5 years. Is that true?
This is 192.
Wow,
3
years. Almost 4. So we and so people, if they watch regularly, they would know, okay, that's a half an hour. That's what I budget. When I listen to podcasts, I have half-hour podcasts. I have hour podcasts. I don't listen to any of the 2-hour podcasts, because I don't live in Los Angeles and I don't have a 2-hour commute. Yeah. But I do have, an hour a day. I'll go an hour out, an hour back, or half hour out, half hour back. And so people break, like, I don't know if there are some people who do movies for YouTube or for Vimeo. But I think that's a tougher sell. And it's probably because I'm old, but I think of, like, okay, the television is for binge watching, YouTube is for videos, and Facebook is for checking in with grandma,
right.
Those are the kind of 3 divisions that I see. But again, I'm not the demographic. People, it took me a while to realize that people just, I don't have any money, and if I did, I wouldn't spend it with them, and they realize that I'm not their demographic, and that's fine with me. And clearly it's fine with them.
Well, and all of the experience, all of my background is, based in the do-it-yourselfer, skateboarder, growing up with VHS and all of that, making your own videos. And now there's longer format stuff that's coming out. So I'm a video guy. You're a word guy, a writing guy, and there are some long format articles that are popular. It's it's still niche, and there are now some longer format videos on YouTube that are becoming popular. So where it used to be a video part for a skater as a 2-minute trick.
Right.
Location. That actually Mountain Dew. These guys are now shooting with the highest end cameras that you can get, and they're doing incredible stuff. And now they're adding like background and interview footage and B-roll and like moody scene setting and that sort of thing. And they're making 8-minute videos that are coming out twice a week, and I'm watching every single one of them because it's damn interesting, and it's
Well, but they've brought you along. They bring you from 15 seconds to 8 minutes. They don't start at 8 minutes, right?
Right.
That's another important component of that.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. But so that's that's a matter of being in something, right? That not everybody else is.
And that's kind of what we were talking about before. This idea that when you are into something, you forget that people aren't. And did I tell you the story about the guy? He was asking me about beer, and the two best questions I got. The first one was, how much did I think Sam Calagione had to pay to get on tap at a bar in a casino in Las Vegas? And I'm like, yeah, no, he didn't. All he had to do was have a good beer that people wanted to drink so much because the casino's like, hey, people like this beer. We'll sell a lot of it. Let's get it. And the other question was, and it was a legitimate question, and this question lots of people ask, because I was going on about ales and English ales, and one guy said, I thought beer was from Germany, and I got to tell the story about, the difference between German beers and English beers, and, it has a long, rich history of going back and forth in the United States until refrigeration in the late 1800s, early 1900s. But, like, I think everybody knows that. Everybody knows that, after... Everybody knows that after what's his name, Augustus Bush put a big air conditioning in. He spent $1 billion on air conditioning, and then he was able to mass produce beer, and he's been doing it ever since, right?
Yeah.
But no, apparently only when you're in things do you and you forget, like, as you were saying with the 2-minute videos, like you forget that people don't operate on this in this way of talking, this way of seeing the world.
Well, and it's also it's the difference between inline, online, not inline.
IRL.
the different, in real life, where you're talking to somebody and you can connect with all of those people. The people who are sharing it have some aspect of what you're talking about that they're committed to, attached to. And when you're talking to somebody in real life, they might be coming totally out of the blue, and you might have that thing that you are connected to, that thread that you're connected to, but it's more, it's part of a, I'm getting, existential here. It's more of a woven thing where, you kind of got to work through all of that in real life to figure out what it is.
I actually used IRL in a newspaper article last week. I was pretty proud of myself. I put IRL and then in parentheses I put in real life as opposed to flip-flopping it. Just because I felt like it, and I know nobody's reading anyway. So I think next week I might even put, "Are you reading? Are you there? Are you there?" If you're reading this and also know how to work the internet, hashtag I read an internet.
I think that would be awesome.
Couple current event things. I wanted to talk about the Delmar Memorial Day. We spoke about Memorial Day a little bit, and I covered the Delmar Memorial Day. And it was not only not horrific, it was heartwarming. And it was so well done, and I was genuinely surprised. And as I've said to everyone who would listen, I would say nasty things about it if I had the opportunity. But so it's just to be fair, you got to say nice things. There's no political speeches. There weren't any politicians there. They didn't even invite any politicians.
Things are breaking.
Uh-oh.
No politicians. That's all right. You all right? Son, this is the beauty of a live show. Son, you all right?
Sure, Dad.
All right.
Is he all right?
He says he's all right.
Oh, why would he lie about something like that? Because he doesn't want you to see what he broke. Oh, yeah, fine. I just dropped my change jar.
Because there's glass all over the kitchen floor, and he's barefoot and shirtless.
He could get like one of those dart guns and just like swing out. You know.
Yeah.
You need more spy components in your house, clearly.
Clearly.
If you can't extricate yourself from a barefooted glass situation in the kitchen, you don't have the emergency supplies you need handy.
Yeah. Well, and the better part is, obviously my picture has changed. I was trying to get a little more natural light in here. It's a tricky part of the day. And so probably only Tony could see me fighting with the curtain while.
Are we on automatic back and forth where I talk, you talk?
Yes. No, I'm still mad. Go ahead about the Delmar.
Anyway, it was just cool. They have this like original ceremony that the VFW has been doing forever, and they do it. It's 20 minutes long, maybe half an hour. They make presentations. They read from the executive order. No, it wasn't really an executive order. They read from the rules. Who cares? Point is, it was short, it was respectful, and it was all about the soldiers who already were dead, and that's it. And it's like, we owe you this. We're not dead. You are. We owe it to you. And when we're dead, people will owe it to us. And that's how shit should work. Right. And it's just very classy. Very classy. Keep it classy, Delmar. That's what I say.
I like that. That's good.
How was your Memorial Day? Because now you're getting to work now.
Yeah, a lot of people are confused over Memorial Day, and it's funny because people get upset that that proper respect isn't being paid or that sort of thing. And obviously, Memorial Day is for those who have fought and given the ultimate sacrifice. And it's funny because it's almost become more of a patriotic holiday than the 4th of July. Is what I'm noticing. It's like it's a lot of red, white, and blue, and it's a lot of that sort of flag waving and scolding people for not being reverent enough.
Right.
Of course, I spent my entire weekend being completely irreverent at the starboard, but like everything that I do, the reason that we do what we do, is we're enjoying the freedoms that others have fought valiantly and to provide for us. Because if we didn't do it, if we didn't showcase it, what's the point in all that fighting for it?
I don't want to end up on any lists that I'm not already on. But okay, so I want to repackage the Delmar thing. What was cool about the Delmar thing is it was like their attitude was like, this is not your holiday. This is our holiday where we take care of our own. And if you want to watch, that's cool. Thank you for watching. But this is for us to do something for our guys.
Yeah.
And I dig that. And I don't want to minimize the idea of service, because I don't think it's not important. Service is important, and it's something that people do and something they feel they need to do. But let us be very clear. What would it take to occupy the United States?
That's a scary question.
What freedoms are they literally protecting that someone could come here to Delmar and take from me? The only ones who are in any position to take away my freedoms are actually the Americans who already have the guns. I mean, ISIS might blow something up, or I don't know, Golden Rainbow might set Arkansas on fire or whatever, right? We can get blown up or attacked, but that's not taking away our freedoms. That's taking away the occasional life. Defending our freedom just means making sure that nobody can occupy us. And we made sure nobody can occupy us when we made one country on one of the biggest land masses with the most diverse amount of people, and we only had one civil war so far. I mean, that's what we got going for us. It's not as if, China could invade. I'm not saying China couldn't invade. I'm saying China couldn't occupy. This is a massive fucking country. People don't think of that. They're always like, "Well, what'll happen?" You're not defending our freedoms. You're defending our ideologies. You're defending our safe passage if we want to visit Europe. Yeah, absolutely. I like the idea that I can go to Ireland if I want, and nobody's going to fuck with me there because we're also preventing. We're preventing other countries from being occupied.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. There's no. And again, I'm not minimizing. I'm really not, because I know I can be kind of a jerk. But I just really want to be clear that our freedoms are never in danger from outside forces who we can shoot.
I know.
Anybody wants to start shooting senators, I'm for that. That would be defending our freedoms. You want to defend our freedom? Go to Congress, blow that up. That'll defend the hell out of our freedom.
I know from knowing you for long enough, doing this long enough, that you're more concerned about a zombie invasion than a foreign country invasion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just
and both are probably equally as possible.
Right. And I think the other thing, and the reason I think it's important, and this is again the thing that I dug so much about Delmar, is no one believes that, but they say it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, we are defending the soldiers never say we're out there defending our freedoms. We're out there fighting for our country is what they say. You know why? Because if you say something stupid for long enough, I was wrong. I would have said if you say something stupid for long enough, people are going to stop believing you, or start believing you, which is how this one worked out. So,
right. Well, keep the faith.
Keep the faith. I almost stopped in on you at the Starboard, but I was late and lost, and I didn't. I was at Browse About Books in Rehoboth. And because I was late and lost, I went to Bethany instead, and I had to drive up Route 1. And on my way up Route 1, I passed Starboard. I'm like, I'll bet Todd and Natalie are there. And as it turns out, you were. You want to talk about that a little bit? You got some time?
Well, it would have been a great place for you to be, especially considering that at 8:30 in the morning, they open their doors on Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. They can't even serve alcohol until like 9:30. And by 10:30, there's a line around the block.
Wow.
It's kind of their thing.
I love crowds.
And I've really come to appreciate how their crowd control works, and how the turnover of things that happen there. And we know all the staff at this point. For the most part, and it's not like a massive people. It's like 40 dudes, 3 or 4 that are at the top that are just running the whole show. And, you have this mass of people that are just coming and going, there's an ebb and flow of everything. It's not a huge place. And they're, they handle it quite readily. And with a smile on their face. Many of them even show up on their days off for fun drinks. So
that's cool. It has to do with practice, like with the core being properly coordinated. The reason I smiled is one of the things that I like the least about bars, beachy bars in general, and it's nobody's fault. It's just, again, I'm not their demographic, and it's cool. I was at a wedding this weekend, and I went to the bar, and I looked at the guy, and it was like out, like in a wilderness kind of bar. It, like there was no pool, but it was like on a deck. And I looked around at what everybody was drinking, and I said, "Is there any chance I'm going to be able to get something in a glass?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're going to have to order a bottle if you want something in a glass." So I don't like paper cups. I don't like plastic cups. They're just not for me.
Well, I will tell you this little secret, and I didn't know this was like their thing. But one of the first times we went to the Starboard, Natalie asked for a glass of wine at a bar, at a deck bar, got a stemmed glass with wine in it. And at the Starboard, they don't use cans. They do have plastic cups, but they're all, nice plastic cups that are branded for them. If you want a beer in a glass, you can get a beer in a glass.
Oh, that's nice. It really is. I don't know why. It just makes you feel like a grown up.
No,
and kids, that's an accidental commercial. That wasn't a boy. Places just don't serve beer in glass anymore, do they? Well, actually, there is one place in Bethany and Rehoboth Beach that always uses glass. That was completely by accident. I wouldn't have not done a commercial, but I wouldn't have done it so ham-fistedly if I was doing it.
Yes. Well, and that was the whole start of, or one of the tenets of the Gentlemen's Club was drinking out of glasses.
Yeah. Oh, I may have a gentleman's. Is the Gentlemen's Club all the way dead?
It's pretty dead.
We're working. I'm working mostly in my head, but also IRL on what? Oh, she gave me that's a callback. That's a deep cut, kind of like Todd saying "King" in another 15 years. So there is a program. All right, so forget everything I just said about the truth. There is a program where you can buy cigars to send them overseas. And the guy that Mike,
that's freedom.
Huh? Oh yeah,
that's freedom.
Do you know Mike over at Edchart?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, anyway, Edchart participates, and I was thinking about getting together a dozen or so guys, like maybe once a month, and we would buy 3 boxes of cigars. We'd each get 2, and then we'd each get 2 cigars, and then everything else would get sent over as part of this Operation Smoke Me Up or whatever it's called. Operation Smoke Up Johnny, I think is what it's called.
That can't be what it's called.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure. But the reason I'm bringing it up to you is because that felt very gentleman's clubby, and I don't know how you feel about cigars. I have a guess.
Yeah. My feeling of cigars is directly correlated with my lack of attention span. So that's pretty much how it boils down.
I can't commit 45 minutes to this. So anyway, so that's coming up, and there'll be more to talk about that. Last but not least, let's hit Burley real quick, and then let's get ready to wrap it up. So canning has come to Burley Oak officially. Officially,
yeah. Actually, it was funny that I actually saw you IRL at the Burley Oak Habitat Benefest.
Right.
That was a good time. Raised a little bit of money for the Habitat for Humanity, and then later that week, and it was kind of like it felt a little bit like it was under the dark of night. Their canning line that the Kickstarter campaign helped to fund came in, and it turned out, and Brian tells a funny story that it came in, the cans were there, delivered on pallets in a tractor trailer, wanted to put them in a different tractor trailer, to store them. And that tractor trailer was an inch shorter than the previous one. And, had to break everything apart, blah, blah, blah. Then they weren't, oh, the cans don't come with lids. They're coming from a different spot. The guy from Wild Goose, who manufactures the canning line, was there to do testing. At any rate, it all got worked out.
Did you say Wild Goose, or did you?
It's Wild Goose out of Colorado. Because I had the same thought too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the same Wild Goose.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and they specifically build canning lines.
All right.
But it's a small thing. It's only as big as a desktop, semi-automated, but incredibly technologically advanced. I mean, it's like a little robot. You put the 2 cans up, you manually put the cans in. There's a lot of adjustments. I actually got over there. I filmed a little bit. I'm not sure if they're going to use it or not. Just kind of to document the receiving of the canning line. And they were putting secret sauce in a can, and they're going to do Sorry Chicky. And that Saturday morning, the first Saturday morning after Memorial Day, they were no, that's last weekend.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that last weekend, not this very past, but the one before, they were canning the secret sauce, and they cranked out however many cases, and at the same time, without much promotion at all, sold half of what they cranked out that very day.
Wow.
So they're basically putting them in the cans, and people were buying 6-pack after 6-pack through the front of the door. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, no, it's a learning curve. They've gotten the machine dialed in, it looks like, and hopefully we'll see more of secret sauce and sorry chicky in the can.
Very cool. I hope to go there. I'm going to be down in Ocean Pines giving a talk on Monday. Or no, I think it's my wife's birthday. I think it's the 10th. I have to look at the calendar. But next week I'll be down in Ocean Pines talking about beer. And when I'm done or beforehand, depending upon when and what, I'll probably swing by and look at the canning thing and maybe take some pictures and get that blogged up as well, so we can really overdo this thing.
You should ping me.
I'll ping you. We got a bunch of other stuff, but I also have a town meeting that I'm dying to find out what's going on in Delmar. I'll tell you what. I wonder how they're planning for the Delmar Day in the Park. Stay tuned. But I don't have time for anything else. How about you?
I don't have time for anything else.
Well, may Todd give you the sense to live in a small town?
We'll see you next week at Happy Hour. Cheers.